Tim Walz. Somehow Tim Walz is back in the news. Fuck. Mrs. Garrison. Oh, shit. Tim Walz's communist agenda. Jesus, Fox News. My God. Jesus, stop. Nope. All right. Let's see what is going on with the Logan Paul brothers. Are they fighting each other now? I saw some shit going on about them
So around
maybe
a month
fighting.
ago, Logan Paul would drop this tweet on the timeline saying the moment that you've waited a decade for, March 27th, stream on Max. Now obviously with this type of vague tweeting and this type of promotional material, a lot of people out there thought, wow, Jake and Logan, they're actually going to fight. Because
Yeah, I don't
when they
think
did
they
embark on this boxing journey all those years ago, I do feel like it was always the end goal that they would get into the ring together and make a ton of money. And at this point, I don't feel like it would be the worst idea because from a retention standpoint, I do think that the average viewer is getting kind of fatigued of watching these guys box. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't help that Logan Paul's last boxing match against Dylan Dennis was the literal definition of a shit show, and that really wasn't even Logan's fault, as Dylan pretty much just went out there and made a mockery of the entire thing, trying to troll Logan, when in reality he just made himself look like a jackass after saying that he was gonna knock Logan out for months, and basically was talking all that shit online. And now that very same clown has been rewarded with yet another fight against Logan Paul's business partner,
Oh,
KSI.
Jesus, not KSI. Dude, what is up with all these fucking people,
off
man?
his bandana. He's turning 32. You're wearing a fucking varsity jacket. Okay. You're 32 years old, bro. Grow up.
Dude, KSI is such a pussy.
So yeah, they've been in like the promotional rounds for that. Personally, I don't really
Logan
understand
Paul
why
does
KSI
that
would
shit.
entertain a boxing match
KSI
with
does the
Dylan at
dude.
this point,
People who
especially
do
after
that
seeing the
kind
way
of
he
shit
treated
are
the
so
fight with Logan
fucking
Paul.
stupid.
Dylan's actually been hinting at the idea that there is some trouble in paradise between KSI and Logan.
Because you harassed his wife.
You were giving me those pictures. Don't act like you don't know them.
What?
Yeah, you're the one sending me everything.
If
All
KSI did that to
all
a
the details that I
normal
have are from
citizen,
you.
his ass would be
KSI hasn't
fucking
been promoting
grass.
this fight, actually.
Well,
It's
fuck
because
is going
Logan's
to
really
the
pissed off at
slammer.
him and is saying he might take his shares away from Prime. He's not going to admit to that, but I know a lot that's going on behind the scenes.
And when it comes to Jake Paul, obviously his last boxing match was against Mike Tyson. And if anything, I think that that just made people more angry than anything else. I think that the whole thing just came off as a little bit sad. I mean, I'm not going to say it was exactly on the same level, but it was kind of reminiscent of when Larry Holmes beat up a way too old Muhammad Ali. Like Ali was just standing there taking punches to his face, and it was clear he really did not belong in that ring. Either way, people thought that they were finally going to fight and that it was going to be on HBO. Logan would further propel these rumors by tweeting out, "New vlog, fighting my brother, go watch." And just a
another
little spoiler alert,
paid promotion.
nowhere within
Yeah.
this vlog that he posted does he end up fighting his brother or announcing some sort of fight, because this was the actual thing they were teasing. The Pauls
Yeah,
got a
they weren't
reality
actually
TV show,
fighting, I thought so.
unscripted, unfiltered,
They made a TV show, just like politicians. Jesus fuck.
unhinged. Paul American. Get it, guys? Not All American, it's Paul American. Trailer drops tomorrow. And so here is the promotional poster for their new show. Pretty much has their entire family.
Oh,
and
so
this
it's the whole
random
family,
giraffe in the
okay.
background. You know, I guess at this point the Paul brothers are trying
Oh,
to become
jeez.
like the
So it's like the
Kardashians of
Kardashians,
YouTube.
right?
And as
Jesus
you guys can see,
fuck.
people are extremely excited to see this. Guess who won't be
I hate
watching
people
this?
that do this
Will
shit.
not
You
be
might as well
watching
just
this.
noose
I'd rather
yourself.
drink
Why?
bleach than watch
Jesus.
this. Nobody asked for this show. It's just as bad as the Kardashian show.
brain dead.
Disgusting. What happened to this brand? Man, as a society, we gotta stop making assholes famous. How do I cancel Max? And then yesterday, the actual trailer for this show would drop, and Jake Paul would tweet out saying, "We're reality TV stars now. Haters are fuming. Send this to 2 friends or haters."
Haters are fuming. I mean, I don't think barely anyone's going to watch that shit. I'm gonna be real with you. The only people who are going to be watching that shit are retarded kids who would like to do the same shit and do illegal
Yeah, that
activity.
Menendez Brothers show was absolute fire. This, on the other hand, will likely be scripted nonsense. So it does seem like the whole premise of this show is like, we're the Paul brothers, we're American, and nobody likes us.
Pretty much.
Cancel culture can suck my ass all day long. Go fuck yourself.
And even the promotional material for this seems extremely outdated. Like,
Yo,
Brandon, the outspoken
cancel
father.
culture?
Jake,
What do you
the
mean?
lovable dumbass. Logan, the suicide forest enthusiast.
So mean. Did you drop your kids on their head? Greg should have pulled out.
Yeah, I guess I just don't really know how many people are actually going to care about this. And it's crazy.
Yeah, no
HBO
one's gonna
used to
care
produce
about
shows
this.
like The Sopranos, The Wire. I mean, they were really on some legendary stuff, and now they're dropping this type of nonsense on their platform. This is the reason they're raising their subscription prices.
We found out I'm pregnant.
So we spent $30K on a gender reveal party. This is the biggest journeys of our lives. And what am I standing kind of funny?
Like an upset housewife. I think Jade has
Ha.
your back more than maybe the other way around.
And don't get me wrong, guys, I actually love some trash reality TV, but I want to see something more like The Real World, maybe Jersey Shore,
Fuck
something
it.
like Hell's Kitchen,
Jersey
a competition show
Shore,
like that.
Hell's
But shows
Kitchen.
like Kardashians or something like this, it's just not really my cup of tea.
Jake texted me. You are truly a gaslighting, delusional, ego-driven narcissist.
Damn.
You don't even tell a single fucking friend, bro.
Go fuck your.
Yeah, I mean, I likely think that this show will get canceled. I would be very surprised.
Yeah, I
if it
mean,
got
if
more
it's
than
like
one
the
season.
Hillary
I mean,
Clinton
maybe if this
show,
was on, like,
the
Netflix or something
didn't
like that, I could see it being more
Michelle
successful,
Obama
but
make a
I just
show
feel like
too?
The average subscriber of HBO Max probably couldn't really give a shit about something like this.
I'm sorry, your shows, all your shows suck.
Now it's in jeopardy. To my whole family.
They just suck.
Shut the
They're not
fuck up.
cool.
We got a show to make.
They're not
So
interesting
yeah,
to
it kind of
watch.
just seems like they're making the
No one
statement
fucking
like,
cares.
oh,
Well, I
no
mean,
one
I
can
don't care
cancel
about you.
us,
I
everyone
mean, there's
hates us, but
obviously
it doesn't
some
matter
people that
'cause we're
care,
still
but I
filthy
don't care.
rich. Like the dad said, oh, I hate cancel culture. Fuck cancel culture.
Cancel culture can suck my ass all day long. Go fuck yourself.
And it's like, it's really not cancel culture. It's just that y'all did some shitty things and people tried to hold you accountable for your actions. In all
Yeah.
honesty, cancel culture really doesn't even fucking exist.
Yeah,
unless you
it
are,
doesn't
like,
even
on
exist
some
in
EDP
this.
shit
It's
or
funny
something like
that they're
But
trying to
calling someone out
correlate
for the
cancel
shitty things they do is
culture
not
to
cancel
this
culture.
somehow.
And I just feel like at this point in 2025, it's just such a little played out trope. Like even another promotional material for this, the most controversial family in America just landed a reality series.
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking
Be
about?
mad at me. I'm uncancelable.
The Epsteins are more controversial.
Yeah, like I said, guys, it's just the premise of the entire show.
P.
Like,
Diddy
even
is
here,
more
Logan says,
controversial.
"Retweet this if you're mad." Like, I don't necessarily think that anyone's mad. I think that they just see this and think, well,
Kanye
that's
West
another
is
show
more
I'm not going to
controversial.
watch. And I also wanted to show you guys this little bonus clip because this was something I didn't get to talk about. Jake Paul accidentally revealed that Mike Tyson had Parkinson's before their fight, but was healed by Toad psychedelics and still got in the ring.
And then ayahuasca is really good for your brain.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
already- yeah, I
And same
already
with
know
Toad.
this.
Toad is what cured
like the
Mike
Toad?
Parkinson's, or sorry, Toad cured Tyson's Parkinson's so that he could come back and fight.
What the fuck?
Fucking meatheads.
so
Meatheads and retards.
Toad, you lick a toad?
Gotta love
does that work?
streamers.
Yeah, these are the first 2 social media influencers to somehow develop CTE in their brain. In all
Yeah.
seriousness, though, if that
Pretty
motherfucker Mike
much.
really had Parkinson's before stepping into that ring, and Jake Paul knew that and he still fought him, oh my god, that's just one of the most disgraceful things I've ever heard in my life. But I do want to know what you guys think about this down below. Are you guys hyped up for this new, like, Kardashian-style Paul family show? Do you think that
I think they're
HBO has become a
retarded.
disgrace? I guess what I
I
will
mean,
say
they're
is
probably
this
gonna
type of
get
thing
some
just
people that
proves
watch
you don't
it,
have to
and
be
it's
a very good
obviously the
person to
people
get
that like 'em.
opportunities. I mean, Mr.
And
Beast
that's
himself just had
about
that
it.
game show with Amazon.
and
that
that,
didn't
and that's
exactly
not
get
really
the best
much.
reviews. I mean,
I mean,
tried to
right?
watch
Yeah,
one
it's just
episode
like the
of that,
Mr. Beast
and I just
bullshit.
could not get over how the editing
Right?
was
People
exactly
eat
like his
Mr.
YouTube
Beast's
videos, which
shit
I
up
find
like it's nothing.
extremely annoying. Like, I don't get how anyone over the age of 12 years old is cool with like
No,
constant
they
sound
love eating
effects and
shit.
things
Just allow
going
them
off
to
in
have
your
the
face.
fantasy.
Y'all let me know y'all's thoughts down below. I do want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Dropping
I mean,
like and
there's
subscribing,
kids who
but as you guys know, it's
idolize
Tan
these
Superman
people.
and some of the terrible YouTuber shows out here need to be covered. So I'm out.
That's their demographic.
Peace.
Greg Paul is a certified creep. Would taking over the Gaza Strip resolve the conflict? Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell, great, what? He's basically a psychologist, sociologist. There's a lot of political, science stuff. He's basically like a historian. A teacher, if you will, a professor. What do you want, little pooper? You look more handsome every day. I
more of a
hate you.
triumph of hope over experience than the phrase Middle East peace process. A close second might be the once fashionable notion that Israel should trade land for peace. Since everybody seems to be criticizing Israel for its military response to the rockets being fired into their country from the Gaza Strip, let me add my criticisms as well. The Israelis traded land for peace, but they have never gotten the peace, so they should take back the land. Maybe a couple of generations of Palestinians in Gaza living in peace under Israeli occupation, and a couple of generations of the occupation troops squelching the terrorists,
Just worked on schoolwork all
for those
day.
of you who are squeamish, would set up conditions where the Palestinians would be free to
And then
vote
have more
on whether
schoolwork
they would
to
like
do.
to remain occupied or to have their own state, minus terrorists and their rockets. Casualty totals alone should be enough to show that the Palestinian people are the biggest losers from the current situation, where the terrorists among them, firing rockets into Israel, can bring devastating retaliatory strikes. Why don't the Palestinians vote for some representatives who would make a lasting peace with Israel? Because any such candidates would be killed by the terrorists long before Election Day, so nobody volunteers for that dangerous role.
Basically, this is the cycle of how terrorists work.
We don't know what the Palestinians really want, and won't know as long as they are ruled by Hamas, Hezbollah, and the like. Whatever the benefits of peace for the Palestinian population, what are the terrorists going to do in peacetime? Become librarians and furniture salesmen?
Yeah, no.
So-called world opinion has been a largely negative
right.
factor in this situation.
They got their terrorist
ideology
and their radicalization for being right fear mongers,
ceasefire after the Israelis
ruling with ruling with their power
into their country.
Of pointing guns
at
people's faces
was before the rockets
and
were
holding
fired.
people hostage and shit.
What do calls for ceasefire and negotiations
abducting
do?
people.
They lower the price of launching attacks. This is true not only in the Middle East, but in other parts of the world as well. During the Vietnam War, when American clergymen were crying out, "Stop the bombing," they paid little attention to the fact that bombing pauses made it easier for North Vietnam to move more ammunition into South Vietnam
to
kill both South Vietnamese and Americans.
Yep.
After
The more you
Argentina
wait, the
invaded
more they
Falkland
regroup.
Islands, if British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher had heeded calls for a ceasefire, that would have
In
simply
wartime,
lowered the
no
price to
one.
be paid by the Argentine
Yeah, it just
government
doesn't
for their
stop. I'm
invasion.
sorry.
Go back 100 years, before there was the United Nations, and before world opinion was taken into account. An Argentine invasion of the Falkland Islands at that time would have risked not only a British counterattack to retake the islands, but also British attacks on Argentina itself. Anywhere in the world, attacks such as those on Israel today would not only have risked retaliation, but invasion and annihilation of the government that launched those attacks. Today, so-called world opinion not only limits the price to be paid for aggression or terrorism, it has even led to the self-indulgence of third parties talking pretty talk about limiting the response of those who are attacked to what is proportionate. By this reasoning, we should not have declared war on Japan for bombing Pearl Harbor. We should have gone over to Japan, bombed one of their harbors, and let it go at that. Does anyone imagine that this would have led to Japan's becoming as peaceful today as it has become after Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Who knows?
Or is the real agenda to engage in moral preening from a safe distance and at somebody
As soon as
else's
we
expense?
dropped the atomic bomb, that was
Those
it.
who
All
think
fighting ceased.
negotiations are a magic answer
Was
seem
that
not
really
to
the answer to
understand that when
do?
A wants to annihilate B, this is not an issue
But
that can
all
be
it did
resolved
was stop the
amicably
fighting
around a conference
and
table.
devastated an area for a little bit. Would it be okay to just drop a nuke right on top of these terrorists and just be done with it? I mean, it's possible. You could. But would it be the right choice? That is the question. Self-Matt, what do you bring to the table? No, we'll watch this too, because this shit is funny. iDubbbz is falling apart. What happened? I heard that iDubbbz was like trying to call out Ethan Klein for something.
Amigos and amigas,
I don't even know what happened.
Konnichiwa, amigos and amigas. Welcome back to a brand new video. I had to take a break from listening to the new Playboi Carti album to come on here and grind.
What the fuck happened to
obviously much harder
iDubbbz?
than
He's
9
gone
to 5.
downhill.
Sometimes iDubbbz.
Well, I mean, he's always been. He turned into a little bitch. It's because of his wife. Like, you dream? What do you mean? He's more of a bitch than I am. I wouldn't mind shanking you, to be honest. Like, I don't mind killing you, and I don't mind going to jail, if that's what you really want.
Wives say the stupidest shit possible. So as many of you guys know, there's been a lot of drama with Ethan.
If
Klein
anything, you want to
and
stay away
CPS
from
being
me,
called,
because I
YouTubers
will
hating on
fucking
him,
slice
and
your throat.
hit pieces being made. And I've said this before. I never thought it was going to be controversial take to be like, yo guys, calling CPS on an innocent man is not epic, and people that do that should be jailed. And this is coming from someone that's never in a million years talked to Ethan.
That was the most formal threatening shit I've ever heard.
Okay?
Well, I
just
mean,
think
you
it's
started
unfair,
it.
And I don't think it's very epic to to have CPS being called on
Maybe
you. And you
don't
constantly
start
getting
shit you
harassed
can't
for
end,
over
huh?
a month, and I don't care if you agree with Ethan, like him or dislike
Unless you
him.
want
I
to get the
think everyone
coppers
could
involved, you
collectively
little
agree
shit.
that making a fake CPS report isn't good. I don't know. Is that controversial in 2025? I guess to people like iDubbbz and Anissa, it's the most controversial opinion of all time. And these people are friends or were friends with Ethan. Like, they came to their show multiple times. As a matter of fact, 2 or 3 years ago when iDubbbz started getting a lot of hate, well, iDubbbz and his wife, because his wife is a thought, and you know, she's doing OnlyFans.
But yeah,
and all
ever
this chatter
since
that was going on at the time. Ethan
basically
had it
ever
all, not
since iDubbbz I don't even know allow, but they ever since the him and his wife got together and talked about allowing her to do fucking OnlyFans content, and then you had the creator clash stuff that happened. Yeah, I honestly I think ever since the creator clash stuff it went downhill. Because he got a lot of backlash for that. He almost went bankrupt for that shit. Well, not really, but He got put in the hole for that one.
once, but multiple times on their H3 podcast and let them have a platform, let them talk about their issues.
Oh, so it is about the drama with Ethan Klein. So yeah, iDubbbz said something about Ethan Klein.
So defended them multiple times
During
when
the
it came to
fucking
this issue and others.
podcast.
Yet when it's time to return the favor, they don't do it. So on their award-winning podcast YouTube channel called Maximum Damage, which is pretty much iDubbbz and Anissa yapping about, I guess, anything that's trendy. Just imagine commentary, but shittier. On their newest episode, they actually do talk about the Ethan Klein situation, CPS, and with friends like
Honestly,
these,
I think
who
he
the
gets
fuck
pegged
needs
by his
enemies?
wife too.
So there you go. This is for a very specific subset of people who are very upset at my DMs.
Yeah. So, Ethan's upset with I think some of our connections.
What in the actual fuck is this? Like, I'm sorry, I know the situation is massive and very
Oh, that
important.
looked
This
like
kinda
the
looks
cube
like a
from,
piece of SpongeBob. If SpongeBob was human.
You know, we've tried to reach out to Ethan.
Well,
to
I don't know
talk
if that's supposed to
privately.
be like some kind of
Basically,
Jujutsu
it just
Kaisen
seems like we're at a
reference
bit of
or
an
the
impasse.
cube from fucking
So we want to stay out of the drama as much as possible. We don't want to pile on and
Hellraiser
add to
or
anything.
whatever.
So this is our, lukewarm addressing of it. It's we're always open to talk. Privately,
Pinhead.
especially.
I'm sorry, but this is such a pussy ass move. Guys, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it in privately. We don't want any drama, and
We don't want any drama, bro. You live and breathe drama. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
even though Ethan has defended us in the
Like
past,
these people literally go on the fucking internet for drama. They stoke drama. That's what they live off of. What the fuck are you talking about? Streamers live off drama. They have to.
publicly and privately, from what I could tell. And even though CPS were called,
They have to live off people's downfalls. That's just a
and speak up for your
I'm
friend.
kidding.
I don't even know Ethan, and I'm doing more to talk about that situation than he is. If I have a friend who's a YouTuber and they're getting shit for, I don't know, something stupid, am I gonna jump in? No, not really. Especially if it's, once again, something super stupid that's not important. But if a YouTube friend had CPS called on them and they were constantly getting harassed for over a month, and this could potentially make him lose his kids, yeah, dude, if I visited your house before, if I've interacted with you before, if I've met your children before, yeah, I will speak up on that. I thought that was a decent thing to do, especially when it's not only drama, but it's legit real life shit. So I don't understand why now they're like, yeah, man, I don't want to get into that. Like, how hard is it to say Ethan is not living in filth? Like, is it really that hard? Is it really that complicated to just be like, well, yeah, I mean, I don't think Ethan is an abusive parent. You don't have to be a spineless fucking pussy. You could actually do something about it. And that's
Wait, so does has iDubbbz had interactions with Ethan Klein? Like they've
like a little kid, right?
I'm
You're not different than your
confused.
friend.
What's
You're just
going
standing up
on?
for him. That's the point. I'm just trying to say, Ethan has had your back before publicly, and you can't even return the favor.
Oh
Like I
no,
said, with friends
streamers
like
are
these, friends
spineless
enemies,
people.
dude. Like, holy shit.
Streamers are the most spineless
the door's always
fuckheads ever.
Yeah, the door's always open. I want to really drive it home.
Like the
We don't
smallest sign of
condone
criticism, they
harassment
fucking buckle.
of
We
any
don't
kind.
condone harassment of any kind.
Of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, period. Which is why we have not stuck our foot in any of this, because it is not productive. I don't think it's helpful. And these are real people who have real feelings.
What do you mean you don't think it's helpful? Like, I'm not here to overanalyze the situation, but insane YouTubers and Redditors are messing with Ethan's children. It's not like some dumb YouTube drama. Oh, you made a video on me, I'm gonna make a video on you. In about 2 weeks, everyone will forget. This is legitimately impacting the lives of Ethan and Hila every single day and their children. Yeah, you could actually be helpful for once in your fucking career, Anissa. You could have taken 10 seconds out of this hour-and-a-half podcast to be like, well, I don't think calling CPS is good. There. I just did it for you, less than 10 seconds. You couldn't do that? You couldn't say that? If these were my friends, I would block them right away. And I don't do favors.
Yeah, this is why I don't.
expecting someone
Right,
else
this
to,
is why
like,
you
pay
shouldn't
me
be.
back when I want. And
Yeah,
it's so
making
healthy when you were
friends
down
on
a
the
few years
internet
ago. And
space
now when you're a bit
sometimes.
more
Yeah, you
up
should be
and
careful
they're
about
down,
that.
You could help them out. You know what I mean? I thought that was the
Especially
decent
when
thing
it comes
do,
to
but
the
apparently
these
not.
fucking
Okay, here's the
lol
comment
cow
talking about.
content
This is from 3
creators.
days ago. Hard to watch. Ethan and Hila supported and defended both of you time and time again. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Thank you. Now that it's the other way around, y'all want to spew nonsense about ignoring it and how they need to get help. We haven't gotten to that part. It gets worse. As if they could ignore CPS showing up at their house. That's what I'm saying. Like, just be a decent fucking human being.
I think I want to pivot this into something that I don't think I didn't touch on it in my apology video many years ago.
He's still talking about his apology video from like 2-3 years ago. Guys, I said the N-word. Oh my god, please forgive me. I've been doing this apology tour for the last 3 years. Shut the fuck up and move on already, please. No one cares, You're pushing 40. Please just move on.
I think in that video there was I had a lot of feelings, and like I think the most obvious one that
I had a lot of
that,
feelings.
like
iDubbbz,
made the
you're a
most sense
bitch
to
now.
people
Shut the
was
fuck up.
me apologizing for slurs and just being generally insensitive to minority groups. And
No,
people
you're
in
just
general.
you're
I'm
just a
skipping
spineless
this. Dude, I've
shithead
heard this
now.
a million times.
Whether or not people who are in it right now realize it on any side, the more people who weigh in, the more people who add to the conversation, the more people who amplify it, the worse that it gets. We were in it. And at the time when we were in it and we wanted...
She's referring to us kind of going through a fucking hard time on the internet, being harassed, videos made about us, people weighing in.
People still make videos about us. And at the time, before like we got help, before we went to therapy, like, yes, there was this attitude of like, why the fuck aren't people saying things? Why the fuck is no one like saying how wrong this is? Like, of course we had anger about that, but like we had to, now that we've gone to therapy and we've worked through all these things, like, one, the videos have not stopped, right? The comments about us have not stopped.
I mean, I don't want to sound like the nerd emoji. Well, technically, guys, what do you mean no one spoke up when you guys were going through it? What do you mean you guys were alone and no one was
what do
coming
you
to your rescue? And even if that never happened, on top of that, it's not the same thing.
People just making
fun of
shit
you for
up
being a thought
'cause they
is
got
not
attacked.
on the same levels as insane Redditors calling CPS on you. It is not the same. You could turn off your phone, you could stop reading comments, you could go away for a week. But when you have CPS on your ass over a false report, that doesn't go away by turning off your phone.
Has stopped is me caring about it, me
Cap.
looking at it.
Cap.
And when you stop, when you get the help and you realize that this is like something that you cannot control at all and it doesn't have to affect your life, that's the only way it gets better.
Yeah.
Well, duh. It's people's opinion of you. No shit, Sherlock. I bet you didn't have to have a fucking therapist tell you, hey, you're gonna get opinions thrown at you because you go on the internet and do weird shit sometimes. And people will have their opinions because you post it on the internet.
Things piling on, things adding to it, people weighing in, people throwing punches for you, does not help. You know? And I'm at the point now, thankfully, with the combination of like therapy, the support systems that I have, my friends that I have, everything, like, I'm not worried about saying this online. And I hope to God that the people who are really
I'm not
grounded
worried
right
about
now,
saying this online.
okay, whoever you want to in your head,
Maybe
whoever's
just don't
listening to this,
talk about
whoever
it
you think is
online.
drowning right now,
I don't know.
I hope to God that they
Maybe
get
don't
the
bring
help
it
that
up.
they deserve.
Because every time you bring it up, you're gonna get
Ethan,
people
just get
talking
therapy.
about it.
Thank you, I guess. Like, it would have been a lot better if you would have probably said nothing. Get therapy.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
don't think you're a bad person. Hey, God
Right.
bless.
Sometimes it's better off just saying nothing.
Like, okay, thanks. Thanks. I guess I appreciate that. The top comment says, all you had to say was calling CPS is bad for Ethan's children because this drama has bled into real life consequences. You guys suck, bad friends. That's all you guys had to say. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Calling CPS isn't that
fucking
there's
flaky
kids
friends.
involved, but they didn't. They just went in the whole rant about
just
when it
flaky
happened to us,
streamers
and
after
I'm a good
flaky
person.
streamer.
Bitch, I do not care. You guys suck. If I had to pick between having no friends and
Oh,
having
too much
only
heat.
2
Gotta
friends, and those
gotta
2
run
friends
out of the
being
kitchen,
Anissa
even though it was your
and
job.
I'd rather
This
have
is your
no
fucking
friends. I
job,
thought
you
guys
fucking
learned
ass
empathy
ass.
at like 30. Talking about it like it's just internet drama when their children are also being dragged into it is actually crazy. Drama? You mean harassment? Jesus Christ, you two are cowards. I'm glad everyone
fucking
in the comment
cowards.
section agrees with me. I'm glad I'm not the only one who's like, dude, this is fucking weird. Like I said, I'd rather have no friends than these type of friends. But anyways, what do you guys think of the situation? Let me know. Comment section is open for all. Before you go, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel.
Couldn't
if you're
even
new.
defend
And,
one person
yeah,
from
I'm out.
from harassment. Yikes. It's not even one person, it's a family, basically, getting harassed by a bunch of retards. What do we got with Russian women are invading the Chinese marriage market?
Did you know? Foreign women are now impacting China's marriage market with cheap
Uh-oh.
dowries. In 2024, a heated discussion erupted over the idea of opening international marriages and introducing foreign wives to China.
Uh-oh.
This was like
Get your
stirring up a hornet's
passports.
nest. Many Chinese women criticized the idea, saying these foreign wives were here just to cause trouble, claiming that marrying foreigners was essentially human trafficking and that it disrupted market order.
Jesus.
But the truth is, foreign marriages
Human
have long been a
trafficking, wow.
reality.
That's a leap.
In Guangxi and Yunnan, many single Chinese men have already been marrying women from Vietnam, Cambodia, and Myanmar.
Oh, Myanmar,
And
yeah.
now, Russian women are entering this market too.
Wait, isn't Myanmar
According to
in
the
some
2022
some
China
shit
Civil
right now,
Affairs
actually?
Statistical Yearbook, in recent years, the percentage of men in Guangxi and Yunnan marrying foreign women has reached a staggering 92%. That means out of every 100 international marriages, 92 are between Chinese men
Is
and
there a
foreign
civil
women.
war going
This
on right
shocking number
now?
comes
Is that
down
what
to
that
2
was?
main reasons. Geographical proximity. It's easy for Southeast Asian women to come to China. Cultural and aesthetic compatibility. Vietnamese, Thai, and Cambodian women share similar looks and traditions with Chinese people, and many even speak Mandarin. Now, Russian women have also started marrying Chinese men, and many of them think they've hit the jackpot. After all, Russian women are admired worldwide for their beauty, so why would they choose to marry a Chinese man? This is where Chinese women have
4
started
years
laughing at
after
men's
the coup,
naivety.
Myanmar
They believe
remains
Chinese men are too
unbrain-
gullible, thinking that
Shit.
these foreign women are better just because they
Ah,
don't demand
yep.
dowries. But have they ever wondered why these Russian and Southeast Asian women aren't marrying in their own countries? Think about it. Do the men in those countries know something that Chinese men don't? Let's be honest. Why would a Russian woman, famous worldwide for her beauty, come to China to marry a short, chubby man earning less than 10,000 yuan a month? From a foreign woman's perspective, Western men are seen as too free-spirited, Japanese and Korean men are too patriarchal, but Chinese men are hardworking, responsible, and good husbands, the perfect dream man. Or at least, that's what they say. Now, let's compare this to China's dating scene. In Hangzhou, a massive blind date event attracted thousands of participants, but nearly all of them were women. Men were almost non-existent. In some cities, the dating market ratio has skyrocketed to 40 women for every 1 man. Every time there's a matchmaking event, organizers have to hunt down men to participate, otherwise, there wouldn't be enough to fill the spots. Right now, a man earning less than 100,000 yuan a year has no advantage in the dating market. Meanwhile, some women earning just 3,000 yuan per month, with no house, no car, and no savings, reject men making 30,000 yuan a month because they don't meet the fantasy of a luxury villa, sports car, and a millionaire salary. This zero dowry revolution reflects a
Myanmar's
harsh market reality.
conflict
Just like
has now
capital
stretched
always
into the
seeks
fourth
maximum
year with no
returns, when
resolution in
China's
sight.
marriage market
Far from
inflates its
subsiding, the
prices,
conflict has
international
escalated
marriage becomes an
dramatically.
arbitrage
Last
opportunity.
year was particularly
This won't just reshape China's marriage
devastating
market
for the
pricing, it could
Myanmar
even trigger
military,
an unprecedented social transformation. I'm
marking
Kaijin
its worst
Xiaomogu, a
losses
finance
in history.
professional who recently started making short videos. I don't support radical feminism, nor extreme male chauvinism. In my opinion, dowries, houses, and cars are just material things. If I have enough money, I don't care about those expenses. But even if a man has 500,000 yuan in dowry money and multiple houses, if the couple doesn't get along, their life will still be miserable. Any attempt to limit competition geographically will eventually be crushed by market forces. After all, the government has already given its answer. On February 1, 2024, China introduced new dowry regulations, banning marriage transactions and allowing courts to support dowry refunds if demanded. That's all for
Dowry
today. If you're curious
refunds? Oh
about
my
how economics
gosh!
influences
So you
relationships,
can't get
follow
some
me, and
some
let's talk about money,
gold digger
love, and life.
trying to fuck you over?
On the internet, it's common to see many men complaining about women, saying that they are gold diggers, demanding, and so on. And there are also many women complaining about men, calling them trash boys and badmouthing them in videos.
Trash
Of
boys.
course, these videos usually
Poor
tell the
boys.
truth, but you know how it is.
Right,
Let me
broke
tell you
boys.
who's making
What
these
was
complaints.
Pokemon's thing?
Let me
Broke
tell you
boys.
something I saw. It was
If
supposed
you're a
to
broke
be
boy,
just
just
another
say
blind
it.
date event, but every time I participate, I get more and more shocked by what's going on. Chinese men, instead of trying to get to know women from their own culture, seem to be completely fascinated by Russian women. And it's almost a funny scene. These men circle around these women like a pack of dogs in heat, all trying to impress them. They offer themselves, try to please, but in reality, the women don't even care. At one of these events, a Russian woman was surrounded by about 10 men, while a Chinese woman, way in the back, all alone, observed everything with no interest. I couldn't take it anymore and lost my patience. I started shouting, saying how naive Chinese men are. Just because these women don't ask for an engagement ring doesn't mean they're
Hey,
cheaper
man.
or have less value.
I mean, it's because it's the culture shock of seeing a different ethnic background human being. Literally. When your culture has made it so that 95 or like basically 100% of you guys are only Chinese, right? Right, it makes it interesting to have someone of a different background there, right? That's the reason. Some people like change.
They never stop to think about what they're doing. And speaking of that, on the internet, it's common to see many men complaining about women, saying they are gold diggers, demanding, and so on. And of course, there are many women complaining about men too, calling them trash boys and badmouthing them in videos. And yes, these videos usually tell the truth, but have you noticed that it's always the same people who complain the most? You know, it's like my brother. Recently, he posted something on social media saying, "Women only want men to spend money, as if they can't even buy me a cigarette."
Oh, wait, what?
And then, with a straight face, he asked for $2,000 to take his girlfriend to Disneyland. How embarrassing, right? My brother is a trash boy. He always says, "Oh,
that's why
women
you
are
have
so demanding,
you have a
so
sibling."
annoying, so dramatic."
Ah.
But he never stopped flirting with other girls. Never. He's exactly that, a trash boy. He's always saying that women are difficult, but guess what? He's never been alone. He chases multiple girls at the same time. And that's how he lives. So, don't be fooled by the women who talk badly about men on the internet.
Yeah,
Let me tell
that's
you,
just the
those
name
who
of the
complain
game
about men
sometimes.
and criticize them, many of these women have several ex-boyfriends in their phone contact list, waiting for the right moment to replace them.
Yeah.
You know what they're doing? They are lowering the competition.
Right.
I'll tell you, even though women...
Basically, some women will have, like, what, 4 or 5 people in the back on read, just in case if the one person that they're trying to get with doesn't work out. Oh, those women are fucking nuts.
Women sometimes complain about men, like I've also talked about my dirty dad. if I didn't walk away from him, it's because he has qualities that outweigh his flaws. I benefit from that. No matter how much I complain, I still take advantage. That's the truth. Now, think with me. When a man talks bad about a woman but doesn't leave her, there's a reason for that. They're discouraging the competition, those who haven't experienced what they did, to push other women away. They do this because, deep down, they don't want to lose the woman. So, they try to convince others that she's difficult or problematic. In the end, they just want to eliminate the competition. Now, tell me, have you seen if those who complain have separated? Divorced? Or after the divorce, remarried? Or after a breakup, got with someone else? They keep going. They always keep going. That's how it works. Now, those who don't complain probably aren't afraid of whatever comes next. They face what's ahead, without fear. What I want to express in this video is, don't just listen to what others say. Go live your own experience, like a life lesson. If it doesn't work out, you can go back. Worst case scenario, you end it. And then, what happens? You start over. Simple as that. I'll tell you, many of your competitors are demotivating you, trying to scare you and discourage you. I'm telling you, there are a lot of people like that. They try to take away your motivation, but in the end, the one who will decide is you.
Holy shit, she's speaking the truth.
Why do so many Russian women want to marry Chinese men? Hello everyone, my name is Naz, and I'm a Russian wife living in China. The first reason is that China is developing very fast. When I arrived here 6 months ago,
A Russian wife living in China.
China
Interesting.
is completely different from what we imagined. Even in the few years I've lived here, the country has grown tremendously. So, many Russian women come to China and simply don't want to leave, just like me. The second reason is that there are many men in China, but few in Russia. If we look at the ratio in Russia, there are about 10 women for every man. Because of this,
really?
I have
Wait,
many
isn't it
friends
because
who
a
are
lot
still
of the
unmarried
Russians
and
go
don't have children.
into they get
So
conscripted
many Russian women
or
seek
drafted?
Chinese partners, and I think this is a great thing. Many of
I'd
them
assume
even
that's
look
why.
for boyfriends on Chinese websites. So, if you haven't found your soulmate yet, you still have a chance. Don't give up. The third reason is that our countries are neighbors and have a good relationship. The Chinese welcome Russians, and Russians
Well, yeah.
also like the Chinese. Because of this, many
I
Russian
mean,
women
because you
feel
guys
comfortable
basically
looking for
have
a
the
husband
same
in China.
government
The fourth reason is that
system,
Chinese husbands are known for
essentially.
being very loving and caring toward their wives, and this is true. In Russia, it's very rare to see a man who truly takes care of his wife. Some time ago, I went to a cafe and saw a couple. The woman was from Belarus, and the man was Chinese. This Chinese husband made tea for her, fed her with a spoon, and took care of her so gently. I thought it was incredibly romantic. On top of that, Chinese husbands help with household chores and taking care of the children. They do this very well. And what woman doesn't love a caring man who gives flowers and takes care of her?
I
That's
guess it
why
happens,
more
eh?
and more Russian women want to come to China and find a Chinese husband.
Bringing a large number of foreign women to marry in China is a way to save China. Foreign girls are rushing into China's marriage market with zero dowry. The men are happy, but the mothers-in-law are not pleased. Recently, the topic of international marriages has suddenly become
And
very
taking care of
popular,
women in
and the
this
mothers-in-law
economy?
have been leaving comments.
No,
They
this is
say it's
Chinese
destroying the
men,
market
though.
economy, but it's true
Right?
that
This
some
is not
foreign
American
brides marrying
men.
Chinese
This is
men don't
Chinese
ask for a
men,
single
right?
penny of
There's a
dowry.
difference.
If you don't demand a car, a house, or savings, Chinese bachelors are really lucky. The mothers-in-law feel that these foreign women are disrupting
Hey, that
the
woman
marriage
looks
market
like
and
us,
are strongly
Dream.
opposed to it. Now, the mothers-in-law and the bachelors
You're-
are divided into two
Why are
camps,
you a liar?
one in favor and the other
Motherfucker
against.
was speaking Spanish
So,
all that time,
unmarried
and now you're
guys,
saying you're
you are
Asian?
definitely
Get
in
the fuck
favor,
out of here.
because Chinese women today demand dowries in the hundreds of thousands, while foreign brides don't ask for anything. Is this also related to the fact that there are more men than women in China? On the one hand, as women's status
What
improves,
Asian
more and more women
language-
are starting to pursue an independent and autonomous life.
What Asian
They are
language
no
did
longer
you
willing to
learn, huh?
sacrifice their own economic
I learned
requirements
Spanish
for the man's financial
in
situation
Spanish
for
class.
marriage, as these demands are too
Mhm.
high. This has led to many men being unable to marry.
What's your
But what
what's your
about foreign
Asian
women?
nationality, huh?
Especially those from economically underdeveloped countries, they value the hard work, progress, and sense of responsibility of Chinese men, rather than an excessive pursuit of material conditions. Of course, this doesn't mean that all Chinese men are willing
Bruce
to marry
Lee,
foreign
this
women.
fucking guy.
Everyone's views are different, but in any case, the influx of
The
foreign
fuck
women
outta
offers
here.
Chinese men more options and possibilities. The idea of bringing a large number of foreign women to marry in China? It's not necessarily accurate. International marriage is a combination of personal emotions and various factors between individuals.
Look,
but
all
there
you
are
have
still
to
many
do is go
people who
find
raise
yourself a
doubts,
nice
concerned
Chinese
that
lady,
such
okay?
marriages may face various problems, such as cultural differences, language barriers, different living habits, which could lead to an unhappy marriage and eventually cause some social conflicts. So, friends in front of the screen, do you think these
Never
concerns
dated
are a bit
one?
unnecessary? What are your thoughts on today's topic?
Recently, I've been observing a phenomenon that has sparked controversy
try.
and outrage among Chinese women, the growing preference of Chinese men for foreign women, especially Russians. This trend, driven by stories of Slavic women offering themselves for marriages
Or
without
find
demanding a
a
dowry, has caused a
Ukrainian
wave
woman.
of indignation and
Or,
heated debates
or
on
a
social
Russian
media
woman.
and in
I don't
real
know.
life. And between us, I think this outrage is more than justified, especially now that
I don't know,
Chinese
pick your
women
flavor.
are facing some tough competition. The situation gained attention after a Belarusian young woman appeared at a matchmaking park in China. The girl, who speaks 5 languages, has an impressive appearance and earns 50,000 yuan per month, was holding a sign saying she was looking for a
Cause of
Chinese
the first day
husband
we ended up
and, most
hanging out to me
importantly,
till the night, it
didn't
was
want a dowry.
fucking insane. Like,
This scene
she
caused
didn't know
quite
me
a
at
stir
all.
in the Chinese
Huh?
dating market, since the dowry is a deeply ingrained cultural tradition in Chinese
You should have
society.
asked her out on
And
a date.
honestly, I think Chinese men are being naive in thinking this is a big advantage. Think about it. Russian and Eastern European women are considered the most beautiful by men worldwide. So the question I want to ask you is, why would this woman, desired by men from various countries, choose a chubby, short Chinese man who earns less than she does? The
I
reaction
could have
from
been
Chinese
a
women
murderer
was
for all I
immediate. Many
knew.
began to speak out in the
What?
comments, criticizing the
The fuck is
naivete
wrong
of
with you?
Chinese men who believe foreign women, especially
she went
Russians,
into my car,
are cheaper
bruh.
because they don't demand a
I
dowry.
mean,
They argue
there's
that
nothing
men
wrong
are
with being
naive to
friendly.
think these women are interested in them for love, and not for financial interest or social status. And between us, I completely agree with them. Chinese men, on the other hand, seem enchanted by the idea of
I mean,
marrying
then again,
foreign
she
women,
could have stuck you with
especially
the knife
Russians. The
and jacked
Slavic
your shit.
beauty, with blonde hair, blue eyes,
That could
and
have
delicate features, is highly
Being
valued.
yeah,
Moreover,
yeah,
the
that's,
idea of not
you're
having
not
to
wrong.
pay a
Yes,
dowry, which can reach tens of thousands of yuan, is extremely attractive to many. But in my opinion, they're
Yeah,
being
femme
naive to
fatales,
believe
yeah,
these women are
those are
willing
real.
to marry them just because they're Chinese. Many Chinese women warn that this apparent advantage may be a trap. They argue that men are naive to believe Russian women are willing to marry them just because they're Chinese. Many point out that while these women may not demand a dowry, they may have other financial expectations, such as a comfortable life, expensive
At least you
trips,
could have asked
and
her for a
luxurious
number.
gifts. And in my view, this is something Chinese men need to seriously consider. The controversy gained even more momentum with the circulation of videos and reports from Chinese men who married Russian women and ended up regretting it. In many cases, the marriages were motivated by financial interests, and the women ended up abandoning their husbands after getting what they wanted. As seen in stories of women
she
who,
hung out with
after
the
obtaining
stranger.
Chinese citizenship or access to financial resources, left their husbands and returned to their home countries. Additionally, Chinese women emphasize that men are underestimating the cultural complexity and value differences between the two countries. They argue that although Russian women may be beautiful and charming, the lack of mutual understanding and cultural differences can lead to problematic and unsustainable relationships. And in my opinion, this is something Chinese men need to consider before diving into these relationships. The outrage from Chinese women is not just about the men's preference for foreigners. They also criticize the social and cultural pressure that forces
She
them
wasn't
to
my
pay high
type. She
dowries to
wasn't
marry,
you, Dream.
while men
Uh-huh.
are seen as
Mhm.
privileged for not having to
What are
bear
you-
the same
what are you trying to
costs.
bother me up
Many
for, huh?
Chinese
You
women are
fucking weirdo?
tired of being judged by their appearance, age, and financial status, while men are celebrated for marrying foreign women. On social media, Chinese women have been expressing their frustration and indignation. Many share personal stories of how they were pressured to pay exorbitant dowries or were rejected for not meeting the beauty or social status standards demanded by men and their families. They argue that while Chinese men seek foreign women who don't demand dowries, they are left out and judged for not being good enough. And in my opinion, this is something that needs to change. The controversy surrounding Chinese men's preference for foreign women, especially Russians,
Man, the
reflects
lighting
gender
they
tensions
choose for
and
this is really
inequalities in
good,
Chinese
yeah.
society. While men are drawn to the idea of marrying beautiful and cheap women, Chinese women are outraged by the social and cultural pressure that forces them to pay high dowries and compete with foreigners for a place in the dating market. The naivete of Chinese men, who believe Russian women are interested in them for love and not financial interest, is one of the central points of this discussion. Chinese women warn that by seeking relationships with foreign women, men may be putting themselves in complicated and unsustainable situations. And in my opinion, they're right. Meanwhile, the outrage from Chinese women
It's interesting that they're saying that having intermingling cultures is now ruining some things for said culture, for that particular ethnic group. Maybe because of the isolation that they felt for so long, and now they can interact with with people of different ethnic backgrounds, different cultures. I think some of these Chinese women don't like the multiculturalism aspect, it seems. Or at least it's so foreign to them that they don't like it too much as of right now. I don't know. I mean, isn't it kind of the same way with Russia, though? How they isolated themselves, too, sort of? So it's like,
continues to grow, and many are demanding changes in society and culture so they can be valued for who they are, not
Yeah.
for how much money or status they can offer in a marriage. And between us, I think this change is more than necessary. Now I'd like to hear your point of view on
a
this
sad,
dilemma.
hot Asian lady.
Do you think Chinese
Oh,
men are falling into
Jesus.
some kind of trap, or do you agree with what they're doing? If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next video.
Oh, there we go. All Asian dilemmas. Is multiculturalism ruining it for China? That is a good question. I mean, I guess given from the woman's perspective in the Chinese culture, maybe, yeah. Seeing as all the men, it seems to them, are going towards, Russian women or other women of different national descent. Or ethnic background, whichever you want to fucking say, right? It's interesting. It is interesting. Alright, let's see what Hoflation got for us.
What do I bring to the table? Excellent question.
I don't know, what do you bring to the
What do
table?
I bring to the table? I am the table. You are the table.
We're not looking for no more tables
You are the table.
to sit at. Let me
Eat the
remind
bugs.
you that you are the table.
I am the
Oh,
table.
God.
The TikTok girls say this a lot. They've been saying it for years.
I've never
What
heard
the
this.
hell are they talking about?
Yeah.
Are they saying that they want to be an object that you drop your shit on at the end of the day? Well, no. Actually, what it means is I deserve. So when they say I am the table, what they think they're saying is
Oh, when you hear a woman say, I deserve this or that, you should be very careful.
I I deserve to be treated well by a man
Yeah.
in a relationship. What they're actually saying, that most of them don't know about yet, is my relationship needs are not connected to my sense of self-awareness because I don't have one. Here is a depiction of somebody who does not know what she can fetch
Oh,
on
no.
Reddit. She is the table. This attitude is more common than you would hope, leading to problems like demanding too much, avoiding people who won't give it to
simping,
you,
yeah.
leaving
Don't
people
simp.
who can't
Whatever
keep
you do,
up,
don't
and then
simp.
believing that your value goes up
Don't
over
be
time
like
and
iDubbbz.
wondering why you're not married. So
Oh,
first, I'll
jeez.
explain what's going on in the
Dude's so
culture
sad
and
now.
how value transaction works in relationships, and then I have a solution for you that I made these special pictures for. I'm an artist. I even updated my table. The younger generations have low self-awareness, but it's not just women. I get a lot of these guys in my comments too, and you don't want to be one.
I'm an
The
alpha
surprise I
male in
have
my
for you later
mind.
will help you develop
Okay.
self-awareness, which will also help you help women do it, but it's only a start. You have to keep learning, and nobody can take that away from you. If you're watching this video, hi, you probably enjoy what I do, and I would never be able to do it if I did not figure myself out first. And I could never do that without
Oh,
studying
no.
exactly the kind of content you find on short form, this video's sponsor. No one can read
Oh,
every book.
no.
I've got piles of them. I haven't even
No,
opened one yet.
books.
So when
Oh,
I want to
God.
understand a book before I start, I
Not
check it out on short form
knowledge.
first.
No.
Short form is a library of book
It's
and
the
article
forbidden
summaries that make
fruit.
it quick
No,
and
I
easy to
don't want
learn.
it.
You can pick a recommendation. This one looks appropriate. Read the main points in a few minutes. Here's a good one. Get the whole book if you want to, and come back and review later. When I made these note cards, it took me weeks for each book. You can do it just by clicking. They did all the work for you. Short form is great for self-improvement and psychology. They publish new summaries every week, and you can vote on which ones. And they even have podcasts and audiobooks for when you're working out or on the road. The Book of Numbers one-page summary. For a free trial and 20% off, use my link in the video description. If you want to help turn these times around, you've got to have a strong mind. You've got to get better all the time. I should have drawn a brain here. You can bring that to the table. Anyway. How did we start talking about tables? The popularity of being the table comes from another one of these downward spirals, like in my situationship video, where I explained how when we changed the
Yeah, don't
language
get
about
into a
relationships,
situationship either.
it changed
That's not
all the
good.
rules, which degraded all the morality, which changed
You
the
want
rules
clear
again,
lines.
so on and so on, until young women are now interpreting
You want
the
clear,
behavior of
concise
young men
lines
as
and
cruel,
boundaries.
when
None
actually
of
they
this
are mostly
Jesus
just
fuck.
protecting themselves from the nightmare that dating has become. But the table spiral is not about blame, it's about entitlement. It's about deserving. It's all about the idea of what do I get from you without any idea of why would you want to give it? What do you get back? Like most of our problems, it starts with women's financial liberation, which means giving women more without asking why.
Financial
So now a lot of
liberation,
women
yes.
have more, never mind why. And when they have more, they no longer respect men with less, or even a similar amount. And when women don't respect you, then you are icky, because now you don't have the power to do something for her that she could not do for herself. Very unimpressive. So men are no longer good enough unless they give more, even though they no longer have more, never mind why, which makes relationships expensive and risky for most men. That's why men are beginning to ask, what do you bring to the table? I bring art skills. I'm a sensitive genius. Men say, you want all this stuff from me, which costs
I bring
me,
feelings
and
to
what
the
do I
table?
get in
Oh,
return?
shit.
Nothing? I get to watch you have it? Can I get a hug? So, to review.
I bring
Making
my
more money
heart
than
to the
me is
table.
attractive, so when men make more, it's easy to find one.
Ah!
Also, men should not make more money than me, never mind why.
You fucking
which
take
means
that.
fewer
You
of
you
them
hear
are
you hear
attractive,
certain
and
words
when we're
and you
done
just
with
stick
that,
this right
then
in your
where
mouth
have all
and
the good men gone? So, what do you bring to the table means why would I want to pay the cost of being in a relationship with you? I'm skeptical that this is worth it, because I've seen this happen to so many men, and they didn't even get anything on the way there. We're basically trying to avoid this. If daddy does dishes, then he can have beer, otherwise I can't, because mommy's in charge. And I'll do a naked hula dance if you change diapers, otherwise I won't. Imagine that's what she brings to the table.
No,
for 10 years and then
don't
lose your house. And that's not even the worst case scenario.
Oh,
So what do you bring
God.
to the table is a reasonable question, but the TikTok girl response is just another trip down the spiral. Here's a fairly standard answer.
Y'all, where are the men that are just giving women money for just looking good and doing nothing? Because I am a lady. I don't bring anything to the table but myself.
And another.
This is what I bring. So, bronzer, powder,
Oh god! Ah!
Those girls were too subtle for you. This one should get the point across. The music really sells this.
Oh god!
So she got POV popular dashboard monologue.
You know what you bring to the table, especially when you are the damn table, darling. Like, you do have a table. Don't ever let somebody make you feel like you don't have a table. You can choose to eat at other people's table, but you got a table too. You have the table.
There's Shira 7, the sprinkle lady, which means
Oh no, not the sprinkle shit.
To the table, go to IHOP,
Dear
or you can
fucking
tip her
god.
If I bring something to the
Oh
table, it's gonna be nice, it's gonna be
Jesus.
another man.
and the memes that follow.
What do you bring to the table?
Oh
This and that. I'm
shit.
not no waitress. And if I was, I'm putting extra food on that bill so you could give me extra.
And of course, endless advice.
If a man is asking you what you bring to the table, it's already an error. It's a problem. This is not a person you want to date. They're not looking to expand with somebody.
3 things you can tell about a man who asks what you bring to the table. Views relationships as transactional. He has
Isn't that what you guys do on sort of your guys' like first and second date, right? Is to get to know each other and see what you guys bring.
unmet needs. He dehumanizes the partner.
I
They
don't
even made
know.
table templates.
What is happening?
Fear. Smelly cheeks. A bad vibe.
I like her. I like some of them. Here's what everyone's getting wrong. Number 1, some people think it's all about money, and it's not. And number 2, it makes people who are dating treat each other like enemies. It's like a competition of who can take the most advantage of who they're dating. So if what do you bring to the table means how do I benefit from this relationship, or how are you adding to this relationship, then I am.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, this
don't care.
I thought the whole purpose of going on those dates was to, you know, try and figure out each other, see what each other brings to the table. I guess. I guess they don't know that. I don't know.
I'm doing me. Some of them haven't even thought about it.
I am only attracted to wealthy, generous men who provide for me.
Oh,
That's
no,
all
not
I've
this
ever
lady
dated in my
too,
entire
yeah.
life. It's all I ever would. I'd rather be single than split bills.
What are you bringing to the table besides your body?
You'd have to ask them.
So, from your perspective, what do you bring?
Me.
So you don't know what you bring to the table?
Me! Oh shit, when you hear that shit, you fucking run, man.
That's it?
Hopefully not.
Oh, fucking peanut brain gallery, dude.
Do you see how mad she got? I don't know what's good about me. Now here I am.
Me!
Here's a sneak
I
preview
bring
for my
me
next
to the
levels video.
table.
The drawing's
All
not
the
done
me
yet.
in the
This
world.
Level 1 here would be her needs and what she wants. Level 2 would be realizing that others have needs and she has to negotiate. Level 3 over here is understanding that she lives in a world where everyone is negotiating with everyone. It's not until level 4 that you get outside of yourself and think, what do I look like to others? How should we be negotiating? So I am the table is part of the maturity crisis. It's all deserving and no self-awareness. It's basically like a girl Peter Pan.
What do you bring to the table?
I'm not going to answer this question. I'm not going to answer how many books I've read.
What do you expect men to bring to the table?
Integrity, clarity, consistency.
What is the female
intelligence.
equivalent of that?
The same.
Then why wouldn't you just say that?
She wouldn't say it because she doesn't
Yeah.
want to admit that what other people want
Yeah, they just-
matters. And the
yes.
thing about that is, other people don't agree.
You ask me what I bring to the table, I'm bringing myself. I'm peaceful, I'm caring, I'm loving, I can listen.
When you have two people, they are not a hive mind. They don't just magically know each other's fucking brain wavelength as soon as that it doesn't work like that, okay?
Whoa, hang on a second. Did she just
No
name things
one
about
simps that
herself?
far unless you're like an Aiden Ross
So
or
you
a
might say
Kai
those are
Cenat or a
things
I Show
that she
Speed.
brings
Sorry, I'm
to the
I'm
table,
kind of throwing
and
those
she
guys in some
named them.
plus.
You could try that. This generation of women thinks that the table is all about money.
Or the Ice Poseidon because of his recent shit. or iDubbbz. The dude is fucking
And yeah, money
schlacked,
matters more than it
dude.
used
Fucking
to.
simping.
Never mind why. But you're really killing this conversation before it even starts. People trade a lot of things in relationships, and that's really all relationships are.
Correct.
Trading things about you, whether you have to or you want to.
Yes.
Relationships are transactional. Some people
In
don't
a sense,
like
yes.
that word. They say things like, I don't want to be chosen for what I offer. I want someone to like me for the real me.
Oh,
But there
boy.
is no real you.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. What is the real you? Who are you? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever said it out loud?
Yes.
You'd have to name things about yourself.
Oh
wouldn't you?
no.
And
Oh no, introspection. Oh no, I don't know. People can do that.
those could be anything. They could be features of your body. They could be how much money you have. They could be your views or your values. They could be a skill you have, a hobby you enjoy, a place you grew up, or just your dreams for the future. The things about you are
Exactly.
who you are. Some of them can be changed and others not so much, and different people will like different things. There are things you know about yourself, things other people know about you, things everyone knows, and things that you haven't become yet. But none of these things
True.
are just some magic ghost that can't be named. They're things that you can see and talk about. And the ones that can change usually start as thoughts, and then they become intentions, actions, habits, and eventually they become a part of who you are.
Yes.
And people are complex. There's a lot
Man,
in there
they
to figure
become
out.
a
So
part
if
of
you
your
want someone
ego.
to like you for you, but you
Your
can't
id,
name
ego,
what
and
you
what was-
is, you might be the table. Relationships are about knowing
What
what
was
you
the other
have
one?
to
Id,
give
ego,
and what you
and-
need, and also what you
Fuck,
won't
can't
give and what you
remember.
don't want. And then talking to someone else about what they have, what they need, and what they do and don't want. That's the negotiation. And if you reach
Was
a
it
deal,
super ego?
then you get to
I guess
be
it
happy
was.
forever. Just kidding. It's a constant
The
negotiation.
three components
so
of the
it's
psyche,
not a
yeah,
flex
that's
to
what
go, ha ha,
Id,
you have to guess. It's just dumb
ego.
and annoying. I once met a
Oh,
girl who
okay,
didn't
yeah,
have
then
any
the
money.
super ego.
So I said, okay, I'll take care of you, but I need you to get a better job at some point and kick in for some of these bills. And she didn't do it, and that's why I don't know her anymore. I later met another girl and I said,
Human
hey,
psychology
I'm not
stuff.
doing that great right now, and she said, that's okay, I'll work
Human
through it."
behavior
And
or
then she
human
didn't.
psychology
Constant
stuff.
negotiation. How can you negotiate if you don't know what you have to offer? What do you bring to the table does not always mean you pay half. Usually it just means, what is this going to be like? Are you worth the risk of all this time and money and
yeah,
emotional
money,
damage?
feelings,
I don't know
right.
is not a great answer. What if you went to a dealership and the salesman said, hi
Are
there,
y-
ready to sign?
Who's
And you
going
said,
to be
"Can I know
dealing with
something
the
about
baggage,
car
right?
first?" And he said, I know this car is
Can
value.
each
This car
person
is
deal
worth
with
it."
each other's
You just leave.
baggage? That
What
is the
makes
question.
you any different? And I can hear some of you saying, people are not objects. Yeah, but you like some of them more than others, right?
Yeah.
And there are reasons for that, right? So then what are the reasons that people would or would not like you? A lot of people just don't know. And that's why I made something
Well, are
for
you
you.
sure
It's
they
a
don't know, or you
self-awareness
can
exercise.
kind
There
of
are
put a
some
finger on what
explanations
people
to get you
dislike
started,
about
some
you?
drawings to help you visualize, and finally a worksheet where you can compare what you offer to what other people want, so
Mhm.
you can gauge how well things are working.
Yeah,
You can use the
expectations
table alone or
versus
with others. I designed it for
non-expectations,
dating,
right?
but you can use it for any relationship. Consult the table to get started, and you can get it for yourself or for someone who really needs to figure things out. The exercise will lead you through what the table is, new ways to think about who you are, choices you have to make a change, and a little story about me.
Oh, there
so
you
if
go.
you want to bring a little more to the table than myself, pick it up on my Patreon. We are not going to fix our problems by becoming
For
more
sure.
self-centered. If you want things to be better around
I'm
you,
like
you
a
have to
sovereign
be
citizen
what
there.
fits into those things. Taking a look in the mirror is a great first step.
Correct. Basically introspection. There you go. Home math. Always dropping truth bombs. I wonder, is he a psychologist or sounds like a professor? I mean, it sounds like someone who's read a lot of psychology and human behavior stuff. Cognitive process behind, yeah, so, yeah, it sounds like... He sounds like a scientist. Anyways. There we go, home math. Alright, what time is it? 10:43? Yeah, I'm getting hungry.
To Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video.
The Trump administration is pulling...
Thank you to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video.
The Trump administration is pulling the approval for congestion pricing, saying it is, quote, backward and unfair. Everyone should have access to the city, not just the elite.
So, New York subway is about to go through some changes because the city's money-generating taxation cameras will soon be shut off. But it's recently come out that even with these cameras charging cars over $1 billion a year, all that money wasn't going to be enough for the subway improvements promised by our leaders. But even though progressives are losing their minds over this, it might actually be a good thing for the subway, just not in the way most people think.
Learn how hell feels. New Yorkers encounter this every day, going to work and school. Mentally ill people terrorizing others on the train, clearly in need of help. Recently, there have been high-profile cases of psychosis turning into violence.
President Donald Trump tweeted, "Long live the king." I'm here to say,
long live the king.
Over 250
oh, that
years.
shit was hilarious.
The MTA tonight asking for $68 billion
Oh no, I forgot
to fund its capital plan for subway improvements. And the head of the agency is turning to lawmakers in Albany for help.
Get all the names of the goddamn
structures, the tunnels, the elevated structures don't fall down, fall apart. We need to make sure that the power systems, which blew up recently a couple times in Brooklyn and Columbus Circle, are not left to rot.
We did China.
Many feel safe riding the subways of New York City, and we had urged the governor
all
to
Asian
instead
dilemma.
of tolling people to try to force them onto the transit system,
I think
to instead
unskippable?
make this city's transit system safe.
We'll roll out substantial additional improvements to our transit deployments to be even more responsive to the terrifying acts of random violence because people don't feel safe in our subways.
So New York's hated driving taxes will soon be a thing of the past, marking another promise kept by President Trump. And although this will
I guess the other ones are like news media
subway,
outlets.
nobody running this place wants to admit it was never gonna do any such thing. Which anyone with half a brain could probably figure out just by using it, as the subway in its current form already costs over $20 billion a year to operate, while it doubles as the site of an ongoing humanitarian homelessness crisis where many neglected New Yorkers live on a full-time basis. Because for some reason our leaders can't figure out how to use the billions they already get to fix this place while giving people somewhere else to stay. And look around, there are red flags everywhere that rewarding this place with more money is a terrible idea. Because every cent that comes down here gets wasted on progressive initiatives like spiked barriers that claim to stop people from jumping the turnstiles, but don't.
Yeah, it seems like
so accessible
yeah, all
all
that new stuff they added didn't really do shit. People are still
more law-abiding riders to use the subway because of how easy it is to get inside. Where for just $3, you can put your life at risk while you take the train to work. Speaking of being at risk, NYPD studies show that the most likely person to assault or rob you while you're riding the subway is the person who didn't pay to ride it in the first place.
Well, yeah.
Which brings us to the real reason President Trump's removal of New York's taxation cameras is a good thing. Not only did they disproportionately tax the poor, but now our leaders have to use the billions they've already got to make some changes around here, instead of stealing more of our money just to waste it. Something they've never had to do before, which is shocking because even though they constantly complain about how the infrastructure down here is hundreds of years old, the budget to run this place is $6 billion higher today than it was over 15 years ago.
Bitcoin.
And still nothing down here has been fixed or improved like they promise.
I'm just
Every
kidding.
year
It was
they demand
a
more
B
of our
for
money.
the
And as you're
rail
about to
line.
see, while President Trump is keeping his promises, the subway we have today is the result of promises that were made and broken on purpose. This This right here is pretty alarming, and it could be a security risk. You've got what looks like a whole bunch of equipment back here behind a door which is not even locked. It is just flapping in the breeze. And the entire subway system is run in a manner that makes it look like nobody cares what happens down here. And we wonder why it doesn't run properly. We wonder why people are stealing subway trains and taking them on joyrides. It's because this entire place is the combination of decades of promises that were made and never kept.
Yeah, like those 3 people that took a train for a joyride.
Yeah. The teenagers that stole a train the other week. But even though our leaders are always scheming and coming up with new plans to get more of our money to waste, the latest way they were going to do it was so bad and so unfair that the president decided to get involved and cancel it, which might actually be the best thing to happen to the subway.
He, as a New Yorker, understands how damaging this program is to our city's economy. This was an unfair toll, particularly considering the residents that I represent. This was a double toll that they were facing to go into the city in which...
So this plan was supposed to generate $1 billion a year by taxing cars to then pay for improvements down here in the subway. Improvements to infrastructure, improvements to train reliability, and other things we've been promised time and time again but have yet to see down here. Yet none of this money was going to go into keeping riders safe. And when you look at the improvements we've already got, like escalators that don't seem to work, it's hard to see how giving this place any more would accomplish anything. And although somehow the money we spend on fixing the subway never seems to make it down here, this time things were supposed to be different. Specifically, 80% of the money from these billion-dollar cameras was supposed to make its way into the subway and change our lives. And you know, 80%, that's way better than the 0% that makes it down here today. But it gets even better because according to the MTA, who runs the subway, taxing cars was also supposed to pay for updated signals that would improve service reliability, reduce delays, and lead to service increases in the future. Which is pretty strange because that's something New Yorkers have heard before. In fact, you can see the MTA's webpage has been promising these since way back in 2009 when they first started installing them. We've been promised signal improvements and accessibility improvements for years, and it's never happened. And the city has so little respect for its residents that it's not even trying to keep it a secret.
People know that the system is old, but I don't think they realize just how old it is. They see the beautiful old architecture in the stations and they think it's just historic. What our riders don't realize, though, is that in our system, it's not just the architecture that's 100 years old. It's a lot of the basic technology as well, the infrastructure.
So this promo was filmed back in 2015, and as you can see, our leaders have been using the age of this place to shake us down for more money for a long time. They always talk about how old.
Wait, they've been using that ad for more than a decade now? Holy shit.
And the never-ending promise of more infrastructure and less delays and a better subway is turned into a never-ending grift, which our leaders keep coming back to every time their piggy bank is empty, constantly telling us how this place is old and falling apart, while reminding us that public transit investments are
like
what
streamers
in the futures of every single New Yorker.
However, the money set to be raised is not expected to be enough to fully fund the MTA's improvements and expansions. Libra maintains the money the MTA is asking for is part of a good investment.
I think it's time to retire the old talking points about how the MTA doesn't manage money. This is a new MTA, and we're all about it.
Whoa, did we just hear of more promises of a better subway tomorrow if we would only pay for it today?
Oh,
unbelievable.
No way.
There's no way anybody should be expected to believe that, because all around us are the signs of a city agency that doesn't know what to do with the money it's already got. And what's crazy is while our leaders keep complaining about how old this is and how it needs new signals, they keep spending all of their money on stuff like this LCD panel right here to tell us how late the trains are. It's almost like we've got this existential problem, which is how terrible the service is, and our leaders always promise to fix it and then use the money that was supposed to fix it on other things. Which means that the New York City subway is a lot like your broke friend who keeps saying that he just needs a few extra bucks this one last time to get his life together, to clean himself up, to turn it all around, and then you give him the money, and what does he do with it? He doesn't get his life together
fuck
or
all
fix
with it.
anything.
He burns
And the
it.
next time you see him, he comes back and he
He
says,
burns
hey, man,
the money.
you got
You
an
give
extra
him
couple
the
bucks,
money,
I could
he
really
burns
use
the
it. It's the
money.
last time, I
No
promise.
more money
and the worst
now.
thing about all of this is that our friend,
He's
the
the
subway,
boss.
is continuing to spiral downwards out of control because they're losing more money every single year on the one thing that is supposed to keep this place going, which would be fare evasion. It costs them $800 million a year, just $200 million less than the billion-dollar congestion pricing plan that the president just canceled. And by taxing cars, they were gonna offset their losses from people who ride the trains for free, revealing a darker side to this whole plan and giving us another reason to all be glad that it's gone. Most people don't know this, but if you're seriously hurt, that accident could be worth millions of dollars. And if you're injured in any way, you need to know how to protect your rights. Which is why you might want to know about today's video sponsor, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest personal injury law firm, who doesn't just settle for lowball offers. In fact, over the last few months, they've seen record judgments, like a $12 million judgment in the state of Florida that was 34 times higher than whatever insurance was offering. Add to that $26 million judgments and $6.8 million judgments in Philly and New York, and it should be pretty clear that Morgan & Morgan is not your typical law firm because they win a lot. Plus, it takes just minutes to see if you've got a case, and you can do it all from your phone. Step 1, submit your claim online. Step 2, Morgan & Morgan's experts get to work investigating. And step number 3, Morgan & Morgan only gets paid if you win, which is what you want. And they can do this because they've got over 100 nationwide offices and over 1,000 local lawyers who are ready to fight to get you the best results possible. You can start your claim with Morgan & Morgan by following this link right here, which will also be in the description of this video. And remember, there's no fee unless they win. Once again, thank you to Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a deal.
So the worst thing about the New York City subway is that its problems are glaringly obvious, and the solutions to those problems, as you're about to see, are also glaringly obvious. But in order to understand why they will never be implemented, you've got to realize that the people running this place never have to do anything. They can just keep asking for more money, and they get it every single time.
Correct.
Which is why our leaders have no plans to collect the money this place needs from the very people using it.
This is proof of this. Check out this video that we got earlier today. In the span of about 10 minutes, with our big clunky cameras looking
Boom, right underneath. Hey, easy.
jumped or crawled underneath the arm of the turnstile. They were completely undeterred.
So this is the first way that you start fixing the subways. You get the people who ride it to pay for it. And we've actually got a way to do that right here. But because it works, we won't use it. And that would be these rotating gates. You could install these everywhere. They're decades old and they'd fix your fare evasion problems immediately. But not only are our leaders uninterested in doing what we already know works, we've got other problems. Like, you see this gap right here? Look at this. This fits a human hand. I've seen people reach through this and open this entry gate right here to get in for free without paying or having a stranger open it up for them. And once you realize that the last thing on anyone's mind is collecting fares from people who ride the subway, every other problem this place has will start to make sense as well, especially the crime problem we've got going on down here, which one study says are overwhelmingly connected to people not paying to use the train. What a surprise. Who would have ever imagined that the criminal underworld, if you let it commit minor crime, will then go on to commit more serious crimes? And here we are trying to convince people that the subway is always a good investment and that it should be respected and that it's necessary. Yet our leaders don't treat it that way at all. They don't think it's a good investment. They don't even care if it works properly, which is explained by the nonstop delays and the fact that we've never gotten the new signals we keep being told are just around the corner. And since our city has no intention of passing laws that would jail fare evaders, people are just going to keep coming down here and using the trains for free, revealing that the money needed to run this place is never going to come from the customer base, something that would tank any privately run business. But that reveals another problem. As much as the subway is a dangerous nightmare of a contraption that nobody wants to spend any time in, the visible problems this place has and the fact that it's always running out of money aren't necessarily its fault. Instead, the problems down here can directly be traced back to an unwillingness on behalf of our city officials to lock up criminals. And sadly, as you're about to realize, just as getting the subway to run properly isn't on anyone's agenda, neither is locking up the folks who are ruining it for everybody.
Those crescent-shaped turnstiles are over there. They add about 4 to 6 inches of height to the turnstile. Would that deter you from jumping over?
No, not at all. I mean, I wouldn't jump over, but I don't see that as being a deterrent.
So this is embarrassing. Here we are wondering why our subway system has a crime problem and wondering why it has a
why
money
does
problem.
it have a crime
Both
problem?
of these are connected. But instead of using the tools we already have to fix both of these issues, we're spending money to make them both worse. Just look at these spikes right here. These things were expensive to install, and they're part of a pilot program that should help our city figure out if they're a way
You know
to
what
stop
can
fare
stop
evasion.
crime?
Yet not only do they not work to stop people who might want to jump over the turnstile or crawl under it, the only way you could justify installing something like this would be if it's not supposed to do the thing you're saying it does. Stuff like this isn't put here to get people to pay to ride the train. It was put here so that somebody could get paid to put it in. Revealing that the New York City subway isn't just used as a way to extract money from New Yorkers, it's also used as a way to enrich whatever favored contractor was chosen.
Yeah, I
to
mean, they're
install
already
these
taking
things.
a
And
lot
this
of
is
money
honestly
from you,
disgusting.
and then
We're
they're
told that
making
the
you
subway's
pay a
very important, that
fare,
our city relies
and
on
then
it,
they're
and
making
investing
you
in it
pay
is investing in
upkeep.
New York, yet all the money that comes from it is taken
Like, Jesus,
for
fuck
nefarious
off.
purposes that don't benefit the people or the subway
Yeah,
itself.
it-
As you're about
it,
to
like,
see,
does
the
nothing.
foolish decision making behind things like these turnstile contraptions is also the reason we have the congestion cameras in the first place. Because not only do they exist to solve problems that are entirely self-inflicted, millions of dollars were needlessly wasted while these problems were created.
And let's also look at some of the changes that our government made that made it miserable to drive in New York City. The bike lanes, taking away all sorts of lanes, parking spots to accommodate bicycles.
So contrary to what progressives who are in favor of congestion pricing will tell you, is that the number one cause of congestion itself isn't cars or buses or even traffic. No. It is smaller roads. This right here is a pedestrian walkway, which just a couple of years ago didn't exist. Cars can't drive down here, nor are cars allowed to drive down the bike lane. This also wasn't here a few
That
years
sounds
ago.
like what
This
they're
clear
doing in
lane here is
California
only
too,
for taxis. That's off
making
limits. And look at this.
bike
You've
lanes
got
to
lanes.
add more
Here's
to
some
the
old Google
congestion
Maps
of
imagery. You can
already
see there
fucked
used to be
up
4
area.
lanes here instead of 3. And if you make your roads 25% smaller, of course, traffic is going to go way up. That's the problem. That's why we've got gridlock and traffic. We shrunk the roads. All of this empty space you see behind me created our traffic congestion problems and gave our politicians an excuse to go after those problems with a new solution, which just involved raising taxes on people. All to fix problems that were deliberately
Shoplifting?
created without
just
anyone
kidding.
thinking about the consequences. When the real solutions people should be focused on are
I
right
just
in
fucking
front of
ducked
us. What do you
under.
think about that? Are the problems New York City's gotten its subway
Gotta save some money, I'm
logical
just gonna
and
duck
preventable?
under.
Could you solve them by collecting money from the people who use the subway and sending people to jail? Or are they a mystery? Is there something I'm missing here? Let me know. Thank you for watching.
Easy.
See you in the next video.
Open the door. Hey, I can get through easy. All right. What time is it? It's 11. I'm kind of hungry. I might just call it. Oh, here. All Asians Dilemma.
I'm 44 years old. No one is chasing.
Oops. This was the one we saw. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Because I am hungry. And what the hell? Streamers. VTubers being VTubers. What is this? The 4 religious fighting over America. Yeah. Huge Southport killer news as shock twists emerges. You couldn't make this up. So shit is still going down. Investment partner, who'd you expect? China Uncensored. Nazi Germany and the Catholic Church. Whoops. How good people turn into monsters. The Lucifer effect. I already saw that one. Well, not this video in particular. Oh yeah, this storm killed
Mississippi,
fucking
Louisiana, Missouri,
32
and Alabama
people.
are the hardest hit areas. As ABC's Johnny Fernandez reports, in Oklahoma, powerful winds help fuel wildfires that have scorched more than 170,000 acres.
Parts of the Deep South dealing with violent long-track tornadoes as a powerful storm system makes its way through the country. Particularly dangerous situation, tornado watches and warnings issued for much of Mississippi and Alabama, as well as parts of eastern Louisiana. In Mississippi, a tornado emergency declared just west of Hattiesburg. Dramatic video captures
Alabama.
the moment a tornado hit Tyler.
Parts of
in Missouri,
eastern
the
Louisiana.
skies in St. Louis lit up by multiple lightning strikes. West of the city, this truck driver pulled over to
Holy shit! No fucking toppled that goddamn 16-wheeler.
My brights, and right after I did that, something hit the side of the truck, just flipped it over and blew up.
ABC's Matt Rivers is in Villa Ridge, Missouri.
Some of the buildings hit just a total loss. The windows in that Burger King, they're blown out.
Shattered.
And look at what's left in this convenience store. The roof entirely torn off, shattered glass everywhere, and this just a sample of some of the destruction we've seen.
About an hour
All the
away,
merchandise gone. No. That was a lot of good food.
This row of businesses there ripped apart. This tractor trailer knocked on its side. In Louisiana, trees brought down and at least 30 homes were damaged after a tornado swept through the town of East Fork. In Arkansas, a tornado survey team has found damage in Cave City consistent with winds of 165
Mother
miles
Nature.
per hour. Meanwhile, in Oklahoma, wildfires have
Tornadoes,
burned more than
hurricanes,
170,000
fires,
acres and destroyed nearly 300 structures.
tsunamis,
About 20 miles west of Tulsa, in Manford,
storms,
smoke billowing in the sky, the flames being fueled by powerful winds. The mayor says at least 24 homes were lost there. Johnny Fernandez, ABC News, New York.
Yeah. Sucks USAID isn't gonna, or FEMA isn't gonna help. Sorry. Alright. I'm gonna call it here. I am hungry.
My favorite ear.
I'll probably watch this off. There's some. I was thinking about watching that. The AI or Aya Mogami or whatever her name is. The person that got stabbed 30 times. Because apparently they owed some money. But anyways, yeah. I am gonna call it. I will be back